Let me start by saying that what we think as innovation today is not what innovation is truly. And I'll give you a very, very small example. A large number of people in the audience must be wearing spectacles. Do we consider it as an innovation to correct our refractive error of the eyes? No. Why? Because it is a way of life. Any innovation, when it starts to challenge a problem. So, problem is the root cause why an innovation comes into being. Having sorted that problem, an innovation goes into the path of acceptance, market penetration, and then it becomes a best practice. After the best practice continues for a long, long time, it becomes a way of life. Whether the chappals and shoes that we wear today, or the specs that we wear today, or the watch that we wear today, or the pen that we use today, all of them were innovations at some point of time. Today, they are not only a best practice, they are a way of life. And that is why I say that the true path of an innovation is when an innovation ceases to be an innovation. It becomes a way of life. This is different than what innovators position themselves in the market today, particularly those who are leading their own startups, leading their own enterprises. We try to position ourselves as a unique product, unique service, unique aggregator, unique enabler. Uniqueness is only the beginning. It's not the journey and it's not the goal. And therefore, my first thought today, before this wonderful audience, is that in our path to innovation, we must make our innovation irrelevant as a unique innovation and project and grow it to be a best practice and a way of life. That's number one. Number two, an innovation which is of little use is an engineering marvel. It is not truly an impactful innovation. You know, the last script that was written to make visually impaired read was Braille. I had the good fortune of studying and learning Braille about 25 years ago, and hence I know its power and merit. Many of you might know too. With so much of automation, so much of deep tech, so much of AI, so much of chip power, so much of silicon revolution, and so on, could no one in the world create another evolved manuscript than Braille? Why? Did it not fetch money? Did it not fetch market? Was there no need? Because you know, Braille script is punched. It's punched using a stylus, which is a manual process. And therefore, innovation is not equal to technology. Technology is a part of innovation. Innovation generally stems from the from the base of science when we ask a question why. And therefore, why is the most important question. The same question Newton asked, the same question Homi J. Bhabha asked, the same question Dr. Kalam asked. Why? Why apple falls downwards? No, why not upwards? Why India is not able to create nuclear establishment is the question Homi J. Bhabha asked. Why India cannot become a nuclear power? Dr. Kalam asked. Why? And therefore, when this why is applied to science and that science is applied to society, what we get is innovation. Which means science plus society is equal to innovation. Innovation is not creating an app. Innovation is certainly not creating a glamour around your product. Innovation is certainly not making one beautiful piece of product or service and claiming it to be have never been done. Unless science has been applied, and science doesn't mean uh, just atomic power or cheap power. This simple glass is science. A boron silicate powder, which was given a shape, size, form, molded, crystallized, baked in an oven to make a glass. Now that's science. But if you ask the same question, why 80% of the world market of lenses that we use in our specs is in the hands of one company? 80% of world market on the lenses is in the hands of one company. Why? Is there no pathways for creating low cost lenses, no pathways for creating low cost spectacles for the world? There must be. And therefore, innovation is not creating a lens cart alone. Lens cart is one of the ways to show innovative pathway, an aggregator platform, user friendly, servicing people where they live and supplying them what they need. That's one pathway. But unless science is applied to society, the end result is not innovation. And therefore, the second principle that we apply for innovation is science plus society is equal to innovation. The third and the last piece of my point, my pointer would be, you see, when we create an innovative pipeline of product or service, when we create an innovative path for an enterprise, we need finances. To achieve those finances, we either go to financial institution or non-banking financial institutions. Either we go to the banks or we go to the non-banks. When we go to the non-banks, we either raise debt or equity because resources are needed. When we raise debt or equity, the debt or equity is raised under certain conditions, which includes the valuation of the company, the portfolio of the product, the potential in the product to touch the market, the potential in the business idea to impact the turnover of the company. And the innovators tend to raise this capital sacrificing their own share of equity. That is the general trend. That if there is 100% equity with the innovator, a certain resources are raised and the innovator reduces his or her share from 100 to say 70%, hypothetically speaking. And this goes on and on. And the entity that has brought the 30%, taken the 30%, then looks at the growth of the company and waits for a time to exit, increasing their wealth. And the new investor comes in. And after some time, the new investor exits. And the next investor comes in into the innovation enterprise. And this goes on. Investors look at wealth creation, hence they do that. There is a strong culture among the innovators to do that too. Because innovators feel exiting an innovation enterprise, creating wealth is their success, which is unfair and incorrect. Unless market is created out of the innovative product or service or package, unless the enterprise has touched the lives of customers, no innovation, service, product, or pathway is a success. And therefore, this eagerness to exit from the enterprise, creating wealth for himself or herself, sometimes prematurely, is an incorrect fathering of innovation by the innovator, fathering of innovation enterprise by the innovator. Why does that happen? That happens because the valuation of the innovation enterprise keeps improving with every round of investment that comes in. But this valuation is only a number which tells us about the power and potential of the company. It's not the spread of the company or the spread of the innovation enterprise. The true measure of the spread of the enterprise is its turnover. And therefore, the third principle that we apply in assessing innovation enterprises is what is the market reach, the penetration, the turnover of the innovation enterprise. Now, if you keep these three things together, number one, an innovation is truly an innovation when it ceases to be an innovation, when it becomes a way of life. Two, science plus society is equal to innovation. If it has not touched society, innovation is not yet a success. And three, it is your spread, your turnover that decides your true wealth creation, not entry of investors and exits of innovators. These three fundamental principles, if one could keep in mind while defining, designing, strategizing their innovation or innovation enterprise, it would do enormous amount of good, not just to them, but to their employees, to their customers, to their clients, and so on. Now, I'll keep these three things, park it on one side, because this is what defines for us an innovation or an innovation enterprise. I'll come to three solutions now that we have around some of these issues. Number one, and again I'm going to create a framework of three verticals within this second part. India has roughly about 700 incubators that are large incubators. Small incubators, medium-sized incubators put together, we have over 4,000 incubators in the country. Now, these 4,000 incubators, small, big, large put together, have roughly about 1 billion instrumentations. 4,000 incubators, have roughly about 50 to 60,000, about 10 billion, sorry, worth of instrumentations. Each incubator puts, some incubators put 10 crore worth of machines, instruments. Some incubator puts 50 crore worth of instruments. Some incubator puts 100 crore worth of instruments to make their startups become successful by effectively utilizing the instrumentation and scientific infrastructure available. We have close to $10 billion, about 50, 60,000 crore worth of infrastructure lying in about 4,000 small, medium, large incubators of the country. The problem is, an innovator of one incubator, hypothetically speaking, say IIT Delhi, cannot go to another incubator, say IIT Bombay, and use this instrumentation. And I'm using two IITs, but generally all IITs have great infrastructure. But let us say there is one small incubator, say Magic in Aurangabad. There is a very nice incubator called Magic Incubator in Aurangabad. It does not have large number of instrumentation and scientific infrastructure, but the mentorship, the market access support, the licenses and regulatory approval support given by Magic Incubator is outstanding. It's one of the best in Central India. Let us say there is a startup of Magic Incubator in Aurangabad. Can it go to an incubator in IIT Bombay? Answer is no. Why? Because these startups are under two different incubators, under two different governing boards, under two different institutional frameworks, under two different governance frameworks, under two different ownership frameworks. The instrumentation of IIT Bombay is under IIT, which is under Ministry of Human Resource Development. The Magic Incubator is a privately industrial cluster incubator. And therefore, an innovator cannot go from one incubator to another. Which means, despite having 4,000 incubators with roughly 50 to 60,000 crore worth of scientific infrastructure, we are not able to create a bridge for one innovator to hop on from one place to another place to use the services and come back. Institutional walls, silos. What we have done is that we have created a unique program called Innovation Passport. I wish I could show it, but I don't have it with me here. But you can type it on the internet and you will see what it is. It is just like the passport that we use for travel. It has the identity, it has the visa stamp details. And an innovation passport is issued to all the incubatees, innovators, knowledge creators, entrepreneurs of every partner incubation hub or incubator. Now what happens, we have enrolled more than 1,500 startups now under this program across 100 plus incubators. The reason I'm mentioning this, it's beautiful that every innovator has a passport called Innovation Passport, which gives their entity an entity of their innovation. And any partner organization which is partner of the Innovation Passport program actually sees that passport like an immigration officer. If this passport is being held by a person, that innovator belongs to an incubator which is part of this passport program. The startup looks at the passport, puts a stamp, and that innovator enters into the another incubator which was stopping that innovator from entering so far. It literally means that boundaries have been broken and you can own an innovation passport, access as many incubators, as many incubation hubs that are members of the Innovation Passport program to effectively use their services, their mentorship, their strengths, their discipline, their specialization, and grow your startup irrespective of where you are. I'll request all of you who are listening to connect with us on the website of Innovation Passport and apply for your Innovation Passport, because this is one passport that can break the walls between institutions and make your journey seamless. The second solution, and here I'm going to be little specialization oriented, because I may not fully understand or know the scientific requirements of many other sectors. But in medical technology, for example, an innovator, while creating their idea, perfecting their product, needs Raman spectrometer. But we don't have Raman spectrometer. Somebody else has it 500 kilometers away. Or I need a transmission electron microscopy, which we don't have. And we need it from somebody 1000 kilometers away. Say we need a small molding support, and we want to connect with somebody who can make a mold for my die, for my casing, for my product. And that's located 50 kilometers away or 100 kilometers away. What do we do? Generally, what we do is this negatively impacts the product development journey, and we wait to reach to that place. We negotiate. If permitted, we access those services. If not, we go back, because some of these instrumentations are very, very expensive. For example, the transmission electron microscope alone is an 8 crore product. And therefore, the owner of that product will not allow you to come and use it. Because if you break it, it's an 8 crore piece gone. So they can use it for you, but you can't use it. Still, your job could be done. And all these complexities are there, which does not allow, as I mentioned, 50 to 60,000 crore worth of instrumentation and scientific infrastructure available across the country for innovators. And therefore, what we have done is create an aggregator called iLab. iLab is a virtual laboratory where you can actually put in your request of what is the technological service you need for your product, what is the function of the instrumentation that you need. You can connect with the service providers having that instrumentation in your area with their rate card available to you. You can place order. You can choose whether you would carry your prototype for the purpose of the process for which you are going there, or you would simply courier it if it is a small function and a small product. So you can choose whether you would be the logistics bridge or there would be another logistics bridge that you would need. The test setup is created by the host institute. The facility service instrumentation is provided by the host institute, and the money transaction is online. Again, a bridge, just like iPassport, to bring together more than $10 billion worth of machines, instruments, functionalities together on a common platform to benefit everyone who needs them, like a marketplace. The third is our unique endeavor to create India's first medical technology venture fund. We have created a venture fund exclusively for medical technology, which would invest in equity in growth companies led by competent innovators to take them not just for a scalable business, but to their journey till the IPO. That's the goal of the fund, that any entity that we invest upon must go till the level of IPO in next 4 to 5 years, till the level of public listing. So the three solutions that I had suggested and which we have shared today is: one, can the walls between the innovation ecosystems be broken, and can bridges be made by innovation passport? Can the scientific instrumentation of enormous amount and potential and strength can be utilized collectively through the market aggregator app? And the space, the lacuna that medical technology sector had, can it be bridged by a venture fund, the first venture fund dedicated to medical technology in India? Now I'll close my remark with three more principles. So we had three, like a triangle, three parts of one side, which was how do we qualify innovation, three parts of the next side, which is what are the three solutions that can make us collectively stronger, and now the base of the triangle, which is, in my case, our own sector of medical technology. Medical technology sector, as you know, has historically been a highly import dependent sector, and it is for the first time that we have taken the challenge to convert India from an import dependent economy to a self reliant economy in medical technology. I also want to mention, along with iLab, there is something that I missed, is transfer of intellectual property. When we create innovation, innovative tools, techniques, sometimes lie with us for a long time, and we wait for investors, entrepreneurs, manufacturers to look into our technology. I also want to mention a very interesting platform that we have created, which is called e-auction of intellectual property. The Kalam Institute of Health Technology, which is a sister organization of AMTZ, it's the Technology Policy Institute for various ministries of Government of India, named after our revered Dr. Kalam. Dr. Kalam Institute of Health Technology has created this e-auction portal for intellectual property, wherein if you are an innovator that has created knowledge base, that has created a prototype, that has created a batch, that has solved a problem, and you are looking for a partner or an investor or a manufacturer, most importantly. As an innovator, you may not like to get into manufacturing, but if there is a manufacturer who would like to take advantage of the knowledge that you have to increase their product portfolio and give you royalty, one can actually auction that intellectual property on a platform of e-auction for intellectual property of Kalam Institute. So what you essentially do is you list your intellectual property without disclosing too much what is the bare minimum necessary for the bidding to start. That's an organized format. And when auction happens, the highest bidder, the manufacturer that bids the highest for your innovation, for your intellectual property, actually pays for it and takes through Kalam Institute in a very regulated way, in a very structured way, through the intellectual property, legal, company secretaryship participation. The intellectual property gets passed on from the innovator to the manufacturer. And that piece also comes on the second side of the triangle. The iPassport, the iLab, and the e-auction portal, solidly supported by the venture fund of medical technology that we have already explained. Now, the base of this triangle is the medical devices sector. In our case, this sector represents a huge opportunity. India has been historically import dependent. This import dependency was to the extent of 98%. Thankfully, it has reduced to about 60% now. The way we are growing And at this point in time, let me tell you a little bit about AMTZ, which is world's largest medical technology cluster, home to hundreds and hundreds of companies that produce right from a mask to an MRI machine. We have few unique characteristics to our cluster. It's based out of Vizag, the beautiful beach city on the east coast of India. The first characteristic of our cluster is that not only that it is world's largest medtech cluster, it is the world's only cluster that makes from a mask to an MRI machine. The second, it is home to the World Trade Center, AMTZ, which is part of World Trade Center Association, and it's also home to WHO Collaborating Center for Health Innovation. It's the only cluster in the world that has a WHO center and a World Trade Center. And the third characteristic is this cluster is where competition becomes collaboration. Until 10 years ago, perhaps India didn't produce a single MRI machine. We were totally import dependent. Today, just in AMTZ, we have 3 MRI factories. All 3 are competitors. All 3 are also collaborators because they are collectively serving India's needs and global needs. So this is also a sector that converts competition into collaboration. And of course, the only medical technology cluster in the world to have a dedicated venture capital arm for investments called Medhartha Capital. Now, this sector, it has been growing enormously. Right during COVID, when we were national suppliers of ventilators, RT-PCR kits, oxygen concentrators, and so on, today we are able to make pacemakers, endoscopes, CT scans, PET CTs, dialysis machines, dialyzer, everything that was coming from outside the country into the country. Robotic surgery systems, that is a deep tech innovation, because you have lot of haptic feedback, pressure sensing, everything. So it's not just a patient bed, which is a mechanical entity, mechanical product, but also as deep tech as a robotic surgery system integrated with telesurgery. Today we can claim to have systems that can help a super surgeon, a super specialty surgeon, assist another surgeon in operating on a case 2000 kilometers away. That's robotic and telesurgery pathway that is not only medical but also technological, because it uses 5G telecom systems and bandwidth, telecom communications. And therefore, these hybrid systems that bring together medtech, deep tech, AI, lasers, quantum physics, telecommunications are also creating the new buzz, and we are a home to all such evolving technologies and evolving products in one place. As a nationally supported enterprise, the way we are growing, India's exports are growing at an enormous rate in medical technology. Self-sufficiency has kicked in, self-sufficiency has penetrated into our hospitals. We hope that in another 7 to 8 years, perhaps by 2032, 2033, India will be an import independent economy in medical technology. We would be exporting as much we will be importing, which means we will be an import neutral country, and thereafter starts the story of becoming a net exporter. And therefore, I invite all of you to visit AMTZ, to partner with us in any of the elements that you have discussed today with me, any of the elements that is relevant to you, any of the problem statements, technological statements that might be interesting for you to work on. At the end, I would simply summarize that look at innovation as a triangle where one side represents the 3 principles the science plus society's innovation, that it needs your spread over the market, not just the value. The solutions like e-passport, iLab, e-auction are platforms that can connect you to hundreds and thousands like you, and the base of cluster like AMTZ, which provides infrastructure, capital, market access, product development in across the technological domains, specialized in medical technology but connected to all other branches of science and tech, so that we work together in truly making India as powerful as it should be, as supporting as a great leader in the field of medical technology, and not just medical technology, in the field of technology itself, because technology is an interconnected world. With that, thank you very much, and I look forward to questions if there are any, and thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time, for your valuable insights. I'll ask the first question, and then we will. By the time, please, the audience, you can write some questions on the chat, and we will selectively take them. Sir, I have your book with me that you gave me at AMTZ when I visited the AMTZ campus in Vizag, and so sir even signed the copy for me. And sir, I want to ask you this question. You said innovation becomes mainstream, and that is the ultimate goal of innovation. So, and also in your book, you told me about build it and they will come. So, sir, can you please tell the audience about it? Like, what you mean by build it and they will come? Because I also think like to make innovation mainstream, should we keep doing marketing, or is it like how does it work? Build it and they will come.
So, build it and they will come. It is left to you. What is that it? That it could be a product, that it could be a customer, that it could be a sector. For me, build it and they will come. It was AMTZ, because AMTZ is a gateway to medical technology sector of India. I built AMTZ hoping that manufacturers, innovators will come, and we are now we don't even have enough space now, so we create more and more space to just keep them, right? And they came. We started our journey with 10,000 rupees 8 years ago. Now we are a $2 billion cluster, about 18,000 crore cluster. And therefore, it has to come from the innovator. But the principle is, if you build something majestic and realistic, majestic because anything which is not majestic is not going to catch the eye, realistic because it cannot be only in the dreams. Unless you build something majestic and realistic, it has to be majestic, but it must be real. It cannot be imaginary. Then your it attracts those who need it. They could be customers, patients, market, distributors, clients, occupants, and therefore decide the it, but do it majestically and realistically.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. So we have one question from Dr. Anamitra Roy. He says the speaker has innovation can always be connected to a problem. Does he mean that innovation is always the result of applied research?
Uh, Look, applied research is a complicated word. Research comes out of ability to understand why. Application comes later. I don't think when we were building, uh, when whether our desire to see the universe came first or telescope came first. Obviously, telescope came because of our ability to do research, and using the telescope in astronomy or using the microscope in cellular biology came later. So micro, which is cellular biology, uses microscope. Macro, which is universe, needs telescope. But microscope and telescope are all outcomes of research called optics, right? And therefore, research has to come from why, application has to come from the question for whom, and how is the innovation. So if research is why, application is for whom, how we go from why to whom is innovation. And therefore, innovation must take advantage of the research, keep the clientele in mind, and creating that pathway is not applied research, it's the application of research.
One person did ask, what do you think of 100,000 patents lying idle in India? So I think this question can be also uh,
Absolutely.
in like widen the scope, and if you can give
Correct.
your comments, that would be.
Correct. My suggestion would be these patent owners uh, must look at two paths. Path one, create a prototype around their patent, and that prototype would attract more interest than the interest their patent is attracting. Don't stop at patent, go to the prototype. And two, if the patent is granted, look at e-auction portals which are sector specific, domain specific, because domain specific clients and customer visits those portals. But India's patent examination capability has gone up by notches. Average patent examination time, as you know, has come down drastically. Number of patent examiners have flourished and multiplied by many times. And therefore, patents will, as patent examination time is going down, patents will keep getting piling up because research is happening. If examination is happening fast, which means patent grant is happening fast, which means knowledge base will keep piling. And the only way to take advantage of this knowledge base is to convert it into a prototype and attract attention.
Wonderful. So maybe one last question, sir, respecting the time, sir, that we have one question. Sumit Gupta, is innovation an individualistic effort or has a larger picture pertaining to inspiration, motivation, and collaborating with others to join the mission of sustainable growth and development?
Excellent question. Uh, I think it is both. There is a saying that, everything in the world takes one mad person to do it. I mean, look at you, Mr. Rahul. I mean, this platform wouldn't exist but for you. For this platform to be successful, you are that one mad person. Come what may, you will get up, you will make it happen. Your individualistic effort cannot be separated from this platform. And therefore, it is individualistic effort. But what are you doing? You are joining people like me, audience, innovators, people who can share their experience and creating a mass movement around your individualistic effort. So, individualistic effort is the seed of innovation, and the people who make you join your mission is the tree that comes out of that seed.